I'm putting off the pain for too long. Oh, Banner 5. So, Aiko, we had a theme going on other banners where there were a lot of things that occurred on banners, like, say, Agrius's BSB and Agrius's OSB, that go together. They're things that you can pull for together with the same mithril pools. Um, and that's awesome. Because, the less mithril you have to spend for more chances at the good stuff you want, you're okay with that. Unfortunately, we have Aiko's BSB, which is one of the better in the game. And they moved her USB, which is very capable, very nice, very good USB, and threw it on a different banner. Why would you do that? So we have an instrument, whatever. Zero cast time, Curaga Medica. Okay, I'm in so far. Party Last Stand. Okay, I'm also in again, and Party Haste. This is a great USB, best USB we've seen in the game so far. This is awesome. We like this, but goodness, would have killed them to throw this in together with Aiko's BSB. It's not like the combination is so like OP as opposed to other banners. Thank you for the follow, Mars. Appreciate it. Hope you like the Final Fantasy 1 fanfare music. Let's see. So, there's really not much to say about this. I've already explained why Aiko's a pretty good character and also a neglected character. But she's got a great BSB, and if you have her BSB, then it makes this a pretty desirable relic. I'll have to have chat help me out with recurrences of this. I don't know if it appears on the Final Fantasy 9 banners coming, but I'll have them let you know. It was also on JP's Banner 5. Their Banner 5 was, the top of their banner was the same as ours. Has Zidane's and Aiko's. So next we have Zidane's OSB, which is just a wind OSB. This is like Clouds. It has lower damage if the other 4 people in the group aren't female, but it's not so low that I would even care about the multiplier. I believe it's 11.75 compared to Cloud's 12.0. And so, whatever. So this is Cloud's OSB, like to the T. It even has the RS wind damage instead of straight up wind damage. But the advantage, sort of, is the... I'm never going to try to pronounce that. The greens boost, which I think everyone's coming to realize isn't as valuable anymore. Greens used to be something like a really limited resource, but they're not that valuable. So we eventually get soon in April we get a Final Fantasy 9 Realm Daily that drops greens. So this will be available to use there, but it's just not something that you're like, oh man, I gotta have that. No, you don't. You do not. All right. Next, we have one of the coolest relics in the game. We have Garnet's BSB. The BSB itself is situationally like 10% less can be good. Why? Because summon damage. Remember, that is valuable. Garnet can actually attack things with her burst and not trigger any counters. Unfortunately, it is not useful for Nemesis because it is lightning and holy damage. There is not a non-elemental component, so both of them are resisted. So Garnet's already stinky damage with her AoE attack on an old burst is not going to hit Nemesis that hard. Having Ultra Cure for a command is pretty cool, but that gets superseded by other other bursts, other healer bursts. I can't even call this a healer burst because it doesn't have a Medica command. Why is this good then? Why did I call it unique or cool? It's because it is a dagger. A dagger on a summoner, which means its primary stat is magic. Magic dagger. Not that great by itself, but then we add in the lightning damage. And now we have one of the most unique relics in the game. As far as I know, there were only 2, maybe 3 primary magic primary daggers that have an elemental boost on them. The 2 that come to mind would be Garnet's Burst right here and Fusion's regular Soul Break, which has now been stricken from the game because it's Soul Break and never ever comes back. It also has Mind, if that's useful, but it's more the magic. Because this allows you to use it on lightning mages, Ash, which gives them the ability to do a ton of damage outside of the being able to have like realm synergy. It's just as good as having a realm synergy weapon in realms other than, where you may be weak. And one of the other reasons why it's so great is because you don't need a lot of magic on a ninja, because their magic soft cap is 390. But one thing that does help out ninja damage more than anything is things that give plus damage, like plus lightning damage, or plus ninja damage, or wind damage, or whatever that they use to, to do their business. It's a very unique dagger and an awesome relic to have. You find yourself using it more than you think you would. The sheer feather, yeah, it makes me mad too. I get salty every time. I spent 350 mithril in the Final Fantasy VIII banner and didn't get a single sheer feather. It's just a regular soul break. It's supposed to be the bad prize on the banner, and I just wanted 1. I mean, 3 would have been ideal, but yeah, sheer feather is just so good. It's so good. It's such a good relic that getting dupes actually lights up your life. That's how good the relic is. Don't worry about it. I've dealt with enough people with 8-star sheer feathers that I'm over it. It's more like I'm just commenting on boohoo, I didn't get one. Okay, so next we have Vanille's or BSB. Healer BSB, so yay, points. Did I talk about this one already? I feel like I talked about this one. I did. This is a very good BSB. It is beneficial to have a healer that can deal damage, like competent damage, and have a Medica command at the same time. So, because there will be turns for every healer that just healing doesn't do anything for you. So looking at the commands alone, we're not even going to look at the entry yet. We have a Pinello-like burst where you have a first command which does 2. These are the 2 strongest. This command is the strongest white magic command in the game at the moment, I believe. Lena's might contend, so don't hold me to that, but it's up there with Lena's. And it reduces the enemy's resistance by 30%. This is the equivalent to the magic break debuff. So it's great to have on a mage team. And then you have your Medica command. So already we have healer burst, but also offensive capability. Strong offensive capability for 2 reasons. Reduces resistance and self-mine 30% with the burst entry. The burst entry itself, 0 cast time, Medica H685, which is a Kiraga Medica, which is the highest level Medica. Awesome button just to press when shit hits the fan, because it happens often. That's why I will never say anything bad about stuff that has this. 0 Medica, Kiraga level. Kiro would be less useful because normally you want your zero cast time to be full heals. As a pure healer burst, and why I rank Ishtola and Realm above him, it doesn't contend because both Ishtola and Realm's first commands are extremely useful due to their zero cast time capability. But if I'm solid on pure healer bursts, then this is one of the best. Probably the best offensive healer burst to have instead. Moving on, we have Luna's Burst, which is 8 single target, wind non-elemental, stun 100%, don't care, and wind. So we see wind, non-elemental, and wind. Already, this is basic. It's what we're looking for. 4 single target, 2 AoE. Perfect. Good. You can do all of the things. This is the Hailstorm buff, which we do not have access to right now in Global because DNA is mean. So this is a self-buff for Lunith, which is great. We already know that these commands are really good on magical, and they are just as good on physical as well. Stun, 90% chance on each hit, which is times 4. Not really that valuable, so what we'd be looking to do is cast, buff, single target, and then recast and do the same thing. Why is this better than it sounds, even though it's just generally pretty basic, plus Hailstorm? Because Lunith is a very good character. He's probably... I don't want to make sweeping claims, but he is probably at least the top or tied for the best Dragoon in the game. And he's a very developed character. He's considered the lead of Final Fantasy III. And his OSB is off the wall. It not only is the spear itself a great wind damage relic, so that's awesome by itself. His OSB is also the same thing. It is a spear with all wind damage, all realms. Probably tied with Kain, yeah. Once Kain gets his OSB available to him, he becomes a monster as well. Lunith and Kain probably lead the pack. So you're going to have an increased attack spear for his OSB available to you on the Cloud of Darkness 1 banner coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. But this alone is fine. I mean, you don't need that for him to be good. It's just, it's a worthy OSB, worth of chasing if you have his BSB. It's true, he is not Fang. So, how do we feel about these 3 BSBs? Oh, we haven't got to the last one yet. You know why? Because this sucks. Jack's BSB is just bad. It's power creeps. That's all. I don't mean to say that it's bad, because it does what they're supposed to do. It gives you dark physical single target, 4 single target dark, and 2 AoE dark. That's fine. It's just power creeped, and we expect more. That's all. I don't want to shit on it too much. I apologize. It's just, we're not living in the past. We understand that we expect more out of our bursts these days, and it could do more. But Jecht is a good character. He's very strong. So it's not awful. It's just uninspiring. I want to be inspired, that's all. And I am by Luniths, and I am by Vanille's. That's all. Make me feel like I should be a better man. Okay, moving on. We have Ishtola's Ethereal Pulse of not good by itself. I mean, you could probably find a use for it somewhere, but once in a blue moon. Where this relic actually becomes really useful is if you already have Wall or her Burst Soul Break. Because Ishtola can just do things. Like, she has so many, like, capabilities available to her. Being able to wall and having such a high value Burst Soul Break, and being able to group Asuna, and being able to protect and shell with one Soul Break, it makes her a Torment Commando. Ishtola is the Commando of Torment. She owns them. They are hers. Because she has so many high value soul breaks. This is even better than Garland's Burst. Garland's Burst sucks, by the way. So Garland is a bad character, but at least this makes you pretty capable in an off-realm. You never want to pull in Final Fantasy 1 banners, just because you have a high chance to get Final Fantasy 1 relics in a Final Fantasy 1 banner, and that's a problem. However, it's nice to get useful things for off-realms on festival banners. And I believe this is a nice relic. A lot of us sung the praises of Auron's Riot Blade back in the day. Auron's probably a better character than Garland, but the attack defense 50% debuff in a Sid mission scenario is very powerful, and I don't think anyone should overlook that. So this is a passable consolation prize. This is a good consolation prize if you have Ishtola's Burst and Wall. Papalymo's Ley Lines. I feel just as well, or just as good, probably a little bit better about this than I did for Krill. I think Krill and Papalymo are very good mages by themselves, so carrying them along to a party just for their Faithka is I'm totally cool with that. Because they have a lot of capability outside of their Super Soul Break, so they don't need a burst to be good. Papalymo, in Papalymo's case, he is a White Mage 4 and Black Mage. So he can also carry Protecka or Shelga with you. And then, you can do whatever you want with Black Magic in the last slot. And Papalymo will do good things for you for an entire fight, even though he wouldn't be using his burst if you're using his Faithka. And Krill's in a similar boat. Krill's more AoE oriented because she's a summoner instead of a white mage. This is just exactly how I spoke about Sheep Song on the third banner. This is an Omega tier Super Soul Break, and that's awesome to have in your Super Soul Break section on these banners, because this can find its way onto an A team, and that's not something you expect. Sid, this is fine. I mean, it's Shout, like this also could. It's not as useful as Ley Lines because of all the added benefit of the Quick Cast 3, but this is the physical Shout, and this can also find its way onto an A team just because of that. Sometimes you need the haste and the attack together, and that opens up your capability. Like if you want to use God, I don't know, a support like Saz has an attack buff, right, that would stack with this, so it would be Saz's attack 30% plus whatever else. So I like these two as consolation prizes. This is easily the worst item on the banner, Garland's Axe, but it's still useful in a Sid mission scenario. This is nice because having a complete Catgirl is actually effective and not just for show. But the problem with the banner is its top end. We have decent constellation prizes, but its top end is bad. Icos is good and highly useful, but you want Ico's Burst Soul Break. If you have Ico's Burst Soul Break, I can actually see you making pulls on this banner, because then this relic has increased value to you, and you can say, you know what, I don't like Zidane's, but Vanille's and Lunith's bursts are good, and I wouldn't mind Garnet's relic, and the consolation prizes are good. It just goes to show how good this festival is. That this banner is the worst banner. I say that lightly because this banner could be people's best banner if they have the right things. Like, they need Ethereal Pulse. They need Buska Heiska or Faithka Heiska. They need Ico's USB because they have Ico's BSB. They're well versed, like with Ico's BSB, and they have healer, like pure healer BSBs, and they want to branch out into the offensive, the strong offensive healer BSBs. They want Lunith because Lunith is a very good character and he has a highly competent burst. This could be a good banner for people. It's just the worst banner because it takes a lot of conditionals for it to be good. So, and a lot of people won't be able to fulfill those conditions to make it good.